good Wednesday evening to you. It is the Valley's most in-depth weather forecast video, a little after 7 o'clock when I'm recording this, and it turned out to be a pretty nice day once again today, and actually a very warm day, our warmest day of October so far. Not in record territory, but certainly way above where we should be at this time of the year. So the numbers today, 81, that's 15 degrees above average, 5 shy of the record of 86 set in 1946. Even more impressive, the early morning low. We had a bank of clouds that lingered for a lot of the night, and that kept the warmth trapped, and so it didn't really cool off much, and we only had a low of 63 this morning, 18 degrees warmer than the average for the 6th day of October. Record lows at this time of year tend to be below freezing. Of course, it's not uncommon to have some early season frosts and freezes in the first week or two of October. Certainly the kind of average first freeze comes later in the month, but it's not atypical necessarily to see that kind of a reading at this time of the year, but not going to happen this year. So 81 today. We had an average day last Thursday when the high was in the upper 60s, but it's really been since Saturday, September 25th, since we've had a legitimately cooler than average day, and it was only 2 degrees cooler than average back on the 25th, when the average high that day was 71, but the actual high was 69 degrees. Mix of sun and clouds for the afternoon today. Showers tried to crop up here and there. We had a couple of sprinkles in just a couple of spots. Most of us stayed dry, and we should be dry from here on out tonight. Any residual shower and isolated thunderstorm activity will remain to our south and southwest this evening. When we look at the water vapor imagery, your eye is certainly drawn to this cut-off low-pressure system, this big curly hue out across the mid-Mississippi Valley. This is called a cut-off low because it's cut off from the main jet stream. The jet is way up north over Canada. And so this is kind of stuck without much to push it along. Now, eventually it's going to start moving enough that it'll get off the playing field. But for the time being, it's kind of stuck in place. Big, deep trough along the west coast. And underneath that trough, some very stormy, unsettled weather for the next handful of days in the Intermountain West and in the mountainous ranges along the west coast. Winter's coming a little early to the Wasatch Range in Utah, the Bitterroot Range, Montana, down into Wyoming, parts of the Colorado Rockies getting in on this, and even the mountainous areas in northern Arizona, northern New Mexico, and the Sierra Nevada mountains out in California will get some snow over the next handful of days. When it's really cold and stormy out west, typically the east is enjoying some warmth, and that will be the case again on Thursday. Clouds may thicken up for a time in the afternoon, and a somewhat higher risk of a shower or even a stray thunderstorm in our forecast. Mid to late afternoon into early in the evening. Could be another shower overnight. Friday, not a washout, but this is a day in which the chances are even higher of a couple of passing showers and perhaps a thunderstorm. I suspect, there's not going to be a ton of thunder and lightning, but we have that chance anyway of some lightning in the vicinity for high school football Friday evening. This front's kind of still in the vicinity on Saturday, and so we're going to allow for more showers and thunderstorms on Saturday. The most numerous raindrops will probably be in western PA during the course of Saturday. Drier weather the farther west you are, but it's not going to be a day featuring much in the way of sun. We expect more sunshine for Sunday. So, again, I've been saying this all week. We've had a great season so far weather-wise for high school football. This will be the biggest risk of wet weather easily that we've had so far this football season, but it's going to be warm. It's going to be muggy. Kickoff temperature around 70. We're used to kickoff temperatures here in early to mid-October in the 50s, so it'll be mild, but you might need the wet weather gear a couple of times. Hopefully, no lightning and thunder. All right, as we go through time here into next week, same pattern, really. Big, deep trough. I mean, big trough pushing into the Intermountain West early next week. Big ridge over the eastern U.S. Now, as we head towards the tail end of next week, that big western trough will start lifting north and east. And while it's not going to drag a super cold air mass or a super strong cold front in, it probably will serve to flatten the ridge some towards the end of next week and into next weekend. So it's probably a less warm pattern by next weekend, so 10 days from now. But I don't think it's a very cool pattern. Our 70s and lower 80s might be replaced by middle and upper 60s, which by next weekend is still above the average. Quick thoughts on the winter forecast this evening. Winter forecast will be released on November the 4th, but we're getting into the time of the year that I start looking at things a little more carefully. And as you know, if you've been following my seasonal outlooks for several years, part of the forecasting technique when we try to come up with a seasonal forecast is looking at the past, years in which we had similar atmospheric and oceanic conditions to the lead up to the current or the winter that's about to begin. One of the years that is kind of interesting to me is the winter of 2000 into 2001. You look at this map, temperature anomaly map for the winter, you think, boy, what a cold winter, huh? This map was greatly influenced by a cold December, really cold December. If you remember, it was freezing cold around Christmas time to New Year's back in 2000. But then, January, we had a little bit of a thaw, and then it got pretty warm into February. So winter came on in a flash, but then really whimpered out later in the winter. Some similarities this year to the fall of 2000, warm October. It was a really warm October in 2000. We were heading into year 2 of a kind of a back-to-back La Nina, and we're going to have that this winter. We had La Nina last winter. We're going to have it again this winter. It's probably going to be somewhat weaker this winter than last winter, and that was also the case in the winter of 2000 into 2001. Year 2 of a La Nina, a little bit weaker than the year before. Some other factors have some similarities as well. This is just one piece of the puzzle, but it's something I was looking at today, so I wanted to share it with you this evening. We're going to have much more winter forecast thoughts and hints and graphics to show you in the coming weeks before we do the forecast officially during that first week of November. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday evening. I'll see you back here on Thursday.